Solo Leveling came out over a month ago and I just got caught up to the series. And so far, I can say that I like the series, I really do enjoy it. This video will be just my thoughts on the series so far. I have 3 major points I want to talk about and how I feel like this series can be a better version of Sword Art Online. I know the series has been really popular for a while, but I've never read the source material, so I am blind to everything that happens. I'm watching on a week-to-week basis, so everything that I'm going to talk about is just my initial thoughts from the anime. For the people that have been thinking about watching Solo Leveling, this first point is for you. I'll be talking about the plot and the main premise of the story. The world building in this world is really interesting to me. We see how they live in a society where monsters are a normal thing, and they have a job where they can become hunters. Hunters rank anywhere from E being the weakest rank to S being the highest. And you can basically have a job on going through dungeons and killing monsters, and you make money and you get better loot. Essentially, they're playing one big video game. Like, these hunters are going on missions like if they're playing Monster Hunter or Wayfinder. But you know, with these type of animes, things can never be that simple, because with these hunter rankings, it comes with societal stuff. Basically, if you're E, of course you're going to be looked down upon, and if you're S rank, you could be like a celebrity. These hunters can literally become celebrities and the most popular people in the world and have the most power just because how strong you are and just your status. Status is always a thing in the world and basically all media. So far in this series, they basically try to tell us that hunters are a really big job in this society, but you can still be a regular civilian. We've seen people be nurses and working doctors and people just doing regular things, but hunters are a really big part of society. It's kind of cool but scary at the same time how normalized these monsters are in this world, because I remember there's one episode where a portal pops up in the middle of traffic and people just put like caution tape around it, and people just walking by like, oh, just another normal day, there's gonna be a monster inside the city. And it's kind of crazy to me. That's basically everything for the world building. Now I want to talk about the actual main plot of the story. Jin Woo is the main protagonist of the series, and he's E ranked, but he's not like a regular E ranked. Jin Woo is so bad that he's known as the world's weakest hunter. Like, I really don't know how he passed the test to become a hunter to begin with, because people say all the time that he's as weak as a regular civilian, so I don't know how they let him pass this test. They set Jin Woo up for failure. Jin Woo is so bad that he can't even beat the lowest ranked monster in the world. He really is just a big liability for people, and people just worry about him the whole time in the missions. He kind of just like carries the bags and he tries to fight, but each time he does, he gets injured really bad. But the thing that I do respect about Jin Woo is his motives for why he's a hunter. He's a hunter because he wants to pay for his mom's medical bills because she's going through a really rare disease. The medication, of course, is going to cost a lot of money for this disease, and I think being a hunter is the best way for him to make a lot of money. So that's the motives for why he does what he does. Even if he gets beat up and bruised every single day, he's going to keep on going there for his family, for his sister and his mother. So in the first episode, Jin Woo goes on this mission with his party, and they go into this dungeon and everything seems fine, but something is off. They go into a dungeon that's not a regular one, it's a double dungeon. So it's a dungeon inside a dungeon. So the team takes a vote to see if they should go or not, and everybody's like, yeah, it should be fine. So they go inside, but it's the worst decision that they ever made in their life. There's this giant statue there just sitting there, and nobody knows what to do until somebody tries to leave the dungeon and they instantly die. Everybody starts panicking, rightfully so, but everything just seems like a giant test. It's like a giant rule list of things that they gotta go through, and Jin Woo is the only one who's smart enough to actually think in the moment and solve the problem. Even though he's an E rank, he was carrying this whole mission, but sadly a lot of people die. I think only 4 of them survived, and the party they were in was probably like 10 people. So I think like 6 people died. This moment really reminded me of season 1 Sword Art Online when Kirito found that party and they go into that dungeon and it was an ambush and everybody dies but Kirito. The difference is that Jin Woo is the one that's left behind by the rest of the party, and he's the one that dies. Or he kinda dies. He wakes up in a hospital and he's alive again, even though he went through the most gruesome death I've seen in a really long time in anime. But this time Jin Woo wakes up with a little gift. He has like a game menu that pops up called the system, and it helps him level up and do certain actions. Now this brings me to my second point. My second point is Jin Woo and how he acts after he gets the system. When he first gets the system, of course he doesn't know what to do with it, he starts freaking out. But then when he slowly understands he has to do his daily missions and work out consistently every day, he becomes a completely different person. His whole physique changes and his face looks completely different. Jinwoo from before the system and Jinwoo after the system are two completely different characters. Now things really start to get crazy when Jinwoo decides to go into a dungeon by himself to see how far his training has gotten. He stays in the dungeon for hours just grinding low level mobs and leveling up consistently over and over again. Hence the name of the series, I'm pretty sure, solo leveling. He's training by himself. Jinwoo's whole motive so far is that he wants to prove people wrong that he is not weak. He wants to become strong enough where he can prove people wrong that he is not the weakest hunter ever. So with that motive, I was really confused when he goes outside and he helps this group of hunters destroy this really high level monster. He one taps it by himself, but except for showing people that he did it, he kind of becomes Batman and goes into the shadows and leaves, and he gets no credibility for it. So I was really confused with that moment. In that moment, he also felt like a different character. He became really serious out of nowhere, and it kind of threw me off. The only conclusion that I could come up with for this scene is that he just wasn't satisfied with the results of his strength yet. He wants to get stronger to the point where he's the best, or he knows that he's ready to show the world his true potential. The third plot point that I want to talk about, and it's not really anything too significant, is people comparing the series to Sword Art Online. I feel like the only comparisons that the series has Sword Art Online is that it does feel like they're in a video game, even though Jinwoo isn't. It's just his regular life, but Kirito actually was in a video game. But Solo Leveling does have a really video game-esque feeling to it, especially with the system being a thing and Jinwoo's like leveling up and putting in skill points and stuff like that. So I can see people comparing that. Also, the dungeon scene I was talking about earlier, when Jinwoo was losing all his party members and everybody was panicking, that really felt like Sword Art Online to me. I felt like I was back in early 2010s and I was watching Sword Art Online again as a kid. But I don't know about the original source material because I'm only watching anime, so maybe when I get further into the series, I'll understand why people compare this to Sword Art Online and say that Solo Leveling is the better version of Sword Art Online. Those are all my thoughts so far on Solo Leveling. I really like the series a lot and I'm going to keep on watching it week by week. Let me know how you guys feel about Solo Leveling down below, if you already read it and just watching it, or it's your first time watching it. I think it's a solid like 7.5 out of 10, maybe 8 if I'm really thinking about it right now. I'll see you guys next time. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and peace.